Okay, let's do this. The first step in order for you to compose an email with attachment in iOS is to import a framework, and that is the Message UI framework. And we will need to create an enum, a enum typed called MyMe typed. Okay, MyMe stands for something I will tell you later on. But so first, let's create the Message UI first. Okay. So here, let's import Message UI. Here's our starter project, and we just need to import the Message UI right into the view controller. And you will see there's a private enum called MyMe typed. It is a string, and I already create those for you because the code here is pretty tedious. Okay, the code here is pretty tedious. You see that MyMe typed, it stands for multi-purpose internet mail extension. It simply tells your email that which kind of attachment is it that you just send over the email. You can send a JPEG, PNG, doc file, PowerPoint, HTML, PDF, and I think that there's a lot more. Okay, you can check out the documentation of the Message UI for that. Okay, now in this one, we will just send some photos to our friend, but you can send anything in this MyMe typed. Cool. And it has a followable initializer called, and we'll pass in the typed of this. And the typed, if it is the case of some of like JPEG, PNG, or documentation, then we'll have the MyMe type accordingly. Cool. So we'll save it sometimes. Save us sometimes here. We don't have to type it once again. Now, the next thing I want to do is goes to this segment of code. Okay, this IB action simply it tells us when the user click the button and he or she will send the photo, which is we have the image name over here, and this is an alert. Okay, now I want to declare a function, a method called show mail composer with, and I want to have it with the attachment URL, which is a string. Okay, and I forgot that this is a function. This is a helper method, allows us to show the mail composer. Okay, so let's do this. First, we'll check if this device is capable of sending emails or not. Okay, many devices doesn't have the capability to send email because things like the simulator cannot send email, or maybe a device doesn't set up with email yet, so we cannot send email via that device. So we want to check it first. If the MF mail compose view controller dot can send mail. So if we can send mail with this device, then how about we will set some of the things, like we'll set the let subject equals great quote from Developers Academy. Okay, what about I have my name here, so you picture at Developers Academy, and we have let. How about we have the message body? Okay, now what is the message body? We can do something very simple text, but later on I want to give you a challenge. So you will read this code and you will see how you can do this. Okay, how about the message body, which is the body of the email itself? We can do some simple thing like, hey, look at the A here. This is very motivational. Okay, and then we can do let to recipients, which is an array of who we want to send this message to. And here I will just hard code this. So I put in my email here. Okay, if you would like to contact me, you can contact me via that email. And this is an array of string. Just that simple. Now next, I want to initialize an mail composer, and that is our second step. We will show and configure an email composer, and it is a view controller. And with this view controller, we will modularly present that email composer, and that is of type MF mail compose view controller. So let's have let mail composer equals MF mail compose view controller, and we use the standard initializer here. And then I will configure some of the properties for this view controller, for this mail composer, things like the delegate of this composer, mail composer dot mail compose delegate. I will do that itself. This delegate, as the delegate, this class as a delegate, will receive some information about sending the email. Okay, things like if the email is saved, if the email is sent, if the email is canceled, or we have some error. Okay, we will set this on. We'll implement the delegate of the mail composer in a minute. Next, we'll set the subject and the body and the recipients for this message also. Mail composer dot set subject to be our subject, right? And we have the mail composer dot set message body, and the body here is the message body. So let's have that. And is it HTML or not? We are not using HTML, so we'll do this as false. Now, I think this feature is really, really powerful. Is that I believe that you can pass in a chunk of HTML and it will parse the HTML for you. I'm not sure, but you can test it. You can test it as just put in a very simple tag of HTML over there. Okay. Now, next, we want to set the recipients for this mail. So we can do something like mail composer dot set to recipients. Now, the reason why I have these constants to have these names is that it is exactly like the name of these properties. We have set up subject, so we have the subject. We have set message body, then we have message body. Okay, so we have the standard name style with Apple. So the recipient here is to recipients. So that should be good. Next, we will need from the attachment URL, we will need to find the file name, right? In this case, it is an image, and then we will have the extension of that image also. Okay, let's find out about that. Let file parts to be something like attachment URL dot components separated by string, and the string you want to do is the period, because if you have an image of here, we have a tons of images, image1.png, so we have the name of that. Okay, the name of that attachment URL here, we have that with the dot, then we can find out file part is an array of image1 and png. So the first element will be the name of the image, and then the part 2, the second index, is going to be the extension of the file. Okay, so if you are using HTML, it's going to be HTML. So let's have that next. Let's file name be file parts sub 0, and we also have the file extension to be file parts sub 1. Right, we know about that for sure. Next, we want to find the exact file in that. So I will do it like this. I will use the ns bundle. Okay, if let file path equals ns bundle dot main bundle dot path for resource, and the resource here is file name of the type is file extension. Cool. Next, now we have that file path to our file. Next, we want to check if let file data to be ns data. And here from the ns data, we can find using this path, this file path, using the method called content of file, and the file here is a string file path, right? And also we have the myme typed to be something like myme typed, and we have the type of the file extension. Okay. Now we have all of the components we need for the attachment of the message. We have the file data Okay, in this case, it is an image, but we can just pass in that data into the composer and it will know how to do the job well. Okay, let's do that. Mail composer dot add attachment data, and as you may guess, this is an NS data, which is exactly this file data. The myme typed here is myme typed. Let's have that, and the file name. Let's see, file name. We have the file name is exactly the file name. Okay, file data. Now, there's one thing we will see is this one. It will yell at us because when we say that it cannot convert the value of viewcontroller.myme typed to a string. What happens is this is an enum. Okay, we want if because it is an enum, then it will be a type myme typed. Okay, it is also a type. But the cool thing about an enum in Swift is it has a raw value, and the raw value in this case is a string. So we can have this as raw. Okay, raw value. So this raw value is a string. That should work. Next, everything is set. Everything is set for our mail composer. Now we can just do present view controller, and we'll pass in the mail composer animated to be true, and completion is nil. Next, our next job is to report the results from the email composer, right? But now, before we do that, I actually forgot one step, is that we just show and configure the email composer view controller, but we never actually do the sending stuff, right? We never actually call that method, the method called the show mail composer with the attachment URL, right? And that thing is exactly what we want to do in the send button. Click that send button. Okay, this send button, the send button in the screen. So we can do it like this. Just call this show mail composer with the image name. Okay, it's just that simple. Or you can. So if you don't want to have this here, the image name, or here you have attachment URL, you can do something like image name. Okay, change this image name into a string, and over here, image name dot components of separated by string. Okay, or we can do attachment name. And then here is attachment name, because I think that if it is attachment URL, it is not very self-explanatory, right? Because it is not a URL. So yes, our next job is to report all the results we have from those images. But now let's run this one to see how it looks like. And actually, let me run it on my phone to see how it works, because I know that on the simulator it will not work, because the simulator maybe it has some bug or something. We cannot work it. We cannot send a message on the simulator. Okay, let's cancel this. All right, because we have the mail composer delegate, let's do that first. Okay, I will go way down below here. Oh well, let's do it right beneath here. Usually when I do a delegate, I have an extension outside of the class and implement those delegate methods. In this case, let's just implement it here because we just have one method. Okay, let's do that here. That thing is MF mail compose view controller delegate. So I will have to conform this to MF mail compose view controller delegate. And let's see what this delegate has. Okay, so this delegates the MF mail compose view controller delegates. You see it has a tons of documentation here, which is it has just one simple function method called mail compose controller, and let's finish with result, and we have the result. So let's find out about that. Beneath here, let's have that func mail compose controller that finish with results. And this one, it is pretty tedious, but let me show you about that. Okay, let me show you the tediousness. I'm not sure if that's a word. Now, we want to switch on the results dot raw value. Okay, from this results dot raw value, if it is, we have some other properties from this, and we can check if the message is sent, if the message is cancelled, or the message is failed or something is saved. Okay, we can check about that. So let's have that. If it is the case of MF mail compose result dot cancelled dot raw value, then we can do something like alert. Okay, raw value, and then we can do the alert of oops. The message is mail cancelled. Cool. Next, MF mail compose result sent dot raw value. If it is sent, then we can do something like this. Copy paste here. Yes, mail sent. Okay, you get the idea, right? And then we have MF mail compose result saved raw value. Then we have alert. Yes, message is mail saved. Other case we have is failed. So MF mail compose result failed dot raw value, and that is alert. Oops, message is mail failed. All right. Otherwise, we just break out this loop and we are good to go. Now, when we're done with this, when we click into the send button, this send button right here, then we have to dismiss this result, this compose view controller, because the compose view controller, the mail compose view controller, it is presented modally. So we want to dismiss that after everything is good. So we want to dismiss view control animated to be true and completion is nil. Cool. And believe it or not, that's all. So let's run the project to see how it looks like, will we? Let me see about that. Let's open QuickTime Player. QuickTime is a great way for you to screenshot, make a video out of your app. So definitely check it out. I will go File and New Movie Recording. Hey. Let's wait a minute. So this is how our app look like. Okay, normally we can just change the image like this, right? And now we can click into this share button and send a new photo like that. How cool is that? And we can send it. Let's send that, and we'll send it to myself. It will ask us what is the size we want to send this. How about we change it into medium? Okay, medium is fine. And then we have those things. Cool. So that's how you can send a photo, or any kind of attachment to an email via iOS. Okay, in your iOS app. I hope that you find this tutorial and this feature helpful in your next project. As always, the fun conversation is always fun with our learn.developersacademy.io. Head over there, get all kinds of freebies, and join one of our programs. Thank you so much for tuning in and at Code Hangout. I'll see you in the next episode of Code Hangout. Thank you.